Hello there, my name is Deputy Liam. I'm here to do a short tutorial for a guy that's here. I'm not very good at explaining things over text, so I prefer to talk them. And because I'm lucky enough to have recording software and a strong enough PC that supports it, I figured I might as well make a video for him. So the checkpoint system they wanted to make was very similar to New Super Mario Bros. I've been working on a platformer in my free time. I haven't been spending too much time on it, just here and there working on it. But it does have a checkpoint system that's almost exactly like the one that he requested. Funny enough. So basically, these pinnacle of game design cones right here that are twirling around is when you walk over them, it'll say that your checkpoint has been updated. So now instead of respawning over at the default spawn location or wherever I would have, because it's how the checkpoint system set up, I should spawn right here because that's how a checkpoint works. So when you fall off the map and die, you'll respawn here. And let's say you progress a little bit, you manage to get a new one. You touch this one right here, it says checkpoint is updated, so it should spawn right there. And voila. It's like magic. I have set up this system so that you can go back and touch checkpoints that you used to touch. I find these handy for exploration-based games, because maybe you want to go back and be here because you were trying to 100% the game. So there's coins over here that you need to collect or tokens or whatever. And you don't want to always progress to the next checkpoint. It's just handy. You don't have to, but the way that I have it set up is like that. So basically on the checkpoint itself, that's these funky little cones right here. We have the cast of the first person. I have a variable saved on it, which is the checkpoint location. We will be referencing this every time that the character dies to teleport the person back and have all the variables reset. You don't have to constantly save it every single time that you touch it because it's not required. You're not always going to need to remember it. It's handy to have it here and there, like if the person touches it and leaves, but you can put that on the leave save function, which I will be showing you where my player's save function is. I believe I have it set over here so it saves the game just for testing purposes, to save the character's stats when they touch checkpoints. So basically, you cast the first person character, get his current checkpoint location. If it's the same one, since we don't want them constantly resaving at the same point over and over and getting that text box or noise or whatever you put on there, because that'd be annoying, we just check to make sure that you're not at the same checkpoint. We then get the checkpoint itself's world location, set that as our new player character's checkpoint location. I have the little show text here, so it flashes up, shows checkpoint updated on it, just as temporary. I'll probably add some nicer HUDs or effects to that later. Then we have a game instance, which is what you use to save and load. If you don't have this, I would look up any number of people's game instance tutorials. I don't know the full extent of them, at least not enough to freehand something. Ryan Laney, he's pretty good at doing stuff like that. There's also the WTF as a game instance. That's another good one. Then we have the function within the game instance, which is saving the player data, which of course has all the stuff you want to save about your character. If this one that's relevant to us is the checkpoint location, and if you're making wherever the character was their level. Kind of handy to have. I have this set up as a data function, player saver data function, so that we can just plug this in and then plug it back in whenever we need to call it, along with the functions here. So, here's our save one. Clear one just gets rid of everything in case you ever need it on the home screen. And then load player data, of course, we grab the save game object that we have, and then we cast it over to all these and set all the points and make sure that the character's up to stuff. Now, on the first person character, this is where we have our death function. So when the person takes damage, I just use any damage. It's the easiest function. It's kind of simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't need to write your own one, since Unreal has some robust features within it that I haven't cared to explore too much, but they do look very handy. This down here is the faults. I added kind of that Super Mario 64 launch character, so when you take damage from lava or spikes, it'll bounce the character up and away from the object. I just thought that was kind of fun to play around with, and you can use it to boost off of things. And here's the big meat of it. When the player dies, we go through this function to set the player dies. So we go through, reset all the character stuff, Um, we respawn the actor after we do that, and respawn any of the power ups that he touched. So, uh, let's say your character grabbed a mushroom. You only want to grab it once, but if he dies, you want it to respawn, obviously, because it's replaying the level, something like that. It'll respawn it so that you don't have to completely reload the world. You could just teleport the person back, have the stuff reset. I find that helpful for permanent items that you don't want saved. They're just kind of fun game things. You don't need to completely reset it and reload the map every time because that would cause an immense amount of lag. And that's held on the game mode because that should hold respawn functions because it's going to be a constant. The game mode is going to always be there. Player character might change, but the game mode shouldn't. It can, but it's less likely to change versus a pawn because you could be possessing a new character or something. I don't know what your game's like. It also then, after you teleport the character back to your checkpoint location, it will set the person back to full health, and they should be good until they take damage again. I know it's not the best of tutorials, but it's a little bit of explain the logic behind it. So to put it simply, keep a checkpoint location on your character, so when he overlaps the big boy checkpoint, wherever you put it on the map, it'll update it, so that when the character dies or they take damage from whatever the obstacle is, you can teleport them back to that checkpoint. I hope that helped a guy that's here, even a little bit. And if you have any questions, I can do more follow-ups and stuff like that.